Hey everyone, this is Patricia, and I just want to say happy anniversary to Manic Expression. It's been 3 years since the site has started, and it has gone so far since then. We've gotten a lot more people joining the site, posting their wonderful content, both videos and blogs and podcasts. And we moved into a brand new site. We keep getting bigger and better, and I'm hoping for another 3 years. The video that I'm about to show you is actually the entry that I presented over to the editors for the Manic Expression documentary called Creative Chaos that was posted about a year ago. This is an unedited and uncut version of my entry and answering the questions that was given to me from Manic Expression about how I became a blogger and how I found Manic Expression and a whole bunch of other information. So yeah, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Hello, my name is Patricia. I'm the co-founder of the blog Old School Lane, member of Manic Expression. I'm 26 years old. I live in Florida. I'm currently just a regular data entry tech person during the day, and at night I blog. And I do the occasional podcast. It was a really tough childhood for me growing up. Not because of my parents or anything like that, but because I was born with Asperger's syndrome. Asperger's syndrome is a high-functioning autism. I have difficulties when it comes to social skills and interacting with people. When it comes to doing things educational-wise, I've always been great at that. In fact, I was always the best in my class. A lot of kids teased me with that, called me teacher's pet. Of course, my name didn't help either. Around the early 90s, I was constantly called Patty Mayonnaise. But that's for another time. Ever since I was young, I've always been interested in writing. I loved writing. I loved writing stories, I loved writing plays, I loved writing poetry, I loved everything about it. I love writing, I love music, I love plays, movies, TV shows, video games. In fact, for some people this might sound a little sad, but in the days in which I felt very lonely, I always turned to television or books or video games due to the lack of friends that I had. Which is probably why when it comes to the knowledge of movies and TV shows and books and video games and what have you, I know quite a lot of it. Sometimes it can be a blessing and sometimes it can be a curse. It can be a blessing because if somebody's interested about something like that, you can give them in full detail about what you know. But it's also a curse because with Asperger's syndrome, you tend to give away too much information and the person doesn't even care about it. And they feel a little bit overwhelmed and uncomfortable. I'm trying to work on that, but it's really hard. Some of the creative outlets that I did, obviously I wrote a lot of stories, wrote a lot of poetry. I did a couple of plays. Around middle school, I wrote and directed a 30-minute adaptation of A Christmas Carol. Around high school, I performed. I did a small role in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. During that time, I received improv classes and drama classes and ways to project my voice and ways that I can be able to be quick on my feet. And around my third year of high school, I wrote a play called The First Mummy. And The First Mummy, it was basically about an Egyptian pharaoh who, when he passed away, his body was like scattered all over the place. And that was basically the origins of mummification process. And I entered that play into a competition called Kaleidoscope, in West Palm Beach, Florida, there's like over 50 middle and high schools competing together, representing a country. We were Egypt that year. I entered in my play, and we won first place, and that was great. And then I took a break from plays, and then I went into a little poetry. I was getting into anime, so I wrote a lot of haikus, especially haikus of my favorite animes. I actually have one right here. I wrote some Naruto haikus that the site that I used to post on, named Wovolution, they really liked it. A couple of examples include born with no talent, trains to exceed a genius, achieved with hard work. Twisted evil mind, strikes fear with his eyes and tongue, lures you to his ways. Love on his forehead, his heart once filled with hatred, now protects his friends. Girls think he's kawaii. They dream of his attention. He dreams of revenge. Brute strength doesn't hide. The pain of death and sadness, her tears of guilt flow. A normal structure, made of village in despair, feel hopeful again. Staring at the clouds, always hide in the shadows. Life is troublesome. When you first saw him, made you think he was a girl. Come on, admit it. And then after a while, I stopped with the poetry, and then I got into writing stories. And when it comes to my stories, I've been a little bit, I've had writer's block over the years. I have a couple of stories that I'm currently working on. One is called Journey of an Offbeat. It's about a young girl who has like some sort of autistic disorder, and she goes through her everyday life. And, it just basically is like a coming of age story in which we see her as a child, and then the end of the story, she ends up as an adult. Then there's another story that I'm working on. It's called The Rise, Fall, and Redemption of String Bean. It's the story about a young man who wants to go into acting, and he has a passion for acting. So he runs away from his small town, and he goes over to Hollywood. And he finds that it's really, really hard over there. He goes around and tries to fit into the busy, bustling city. He's there during the 1970s, so there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things are changing, and he has to be able to be quick on his feet with everything that's going on at the moment. And then as time goes on, he becomes really popular, and he becomes famous. Then as time goes on, he has a few illnesses, and then he just takes a break from Hollywood, and he's forgotten. And about 30 years later, he wants to make a comeback. And the only way to make a comeback is to be in really shitty TV movies, like the ones that you see in Hallmark and Lifetime and stuff like that. But he perseveres and he works hard. That way he can be able to show that he can still bring out what he had all those years ago. And then there's another story. I don't have a title for it yet. It's about a girl, a teenage woman, who feels out of place. She doesn't feel like she's part of her family. She's the black sheep. One day she wakes up and she has like these amazing powers. She doesn't know why, but for some reason she starts developing the power to duplicate anything she touches, and for her to read wireless signals in her mind. And then all of a sudden a mysterious man comes along, knows about her powers, and says, hey, would you like to join our organization and help maintain peace in society and maintain balance in the world? And the only catch is that she has to give up everything in her life. She has to give up her home. She has to give up knowing her family. You basically start over from scratch with a new name and a new identity. Nobody even knows that she exists anymore. And she goes with it, and it's just basically a story about corruption and basically secrets that our country is going through government-wise, and trying to be able to crack into it. That way, peace and prosperity can be maintained in this country again. But in the end, there's a little twist in it, in which, in a way, if we all don't change, there will never be peace and prosperity, no matter who's in charge. So yeah, I'm mostly right. So I feel that writing is right here in my heart. It's in my blood. I feel like if I don't write, then I won't be able to go on with my day. I'll just go through, the usual crappy day that everybody else has to go through. So yeah. I started doing blogging around 2011. My best friend Kevin Guglielmo and I, we decided to do a blog together called Old School Lane. Old School Lane, the name comes from like this cul-de-sac in which our favorite characters from movies, TV shows, and video games all live in that cul-de-sac, and the street is called Old School Lane. And that's when we decided to post up our interests. Let's see. How did it go? Well, at first it was crickets. Yeah, it was just crickets. Nobody even knew that we existed, which, it's obvious. If you're going to start a blog among thousands of other blogs that are on the internet, of course you're not going to get noticed. We didn't think we were, so we decided to continue on anyway. Were there any difficulties? Of course, yeah. The first one was trying to get noticed. Kevin, he wanted to promote his independent movie. I just wanted to show off my work. And another thing that was really hard was when you're writing about something and people, they want to bash on you because they want to share their opinions about things. That's really hard. Given the fact that, everybody has an opinion about everything, but there's always that one person who will bash on you or feel the satisfactory of saying that your work sucks. And I've gotten that. One in particular I received on my birthday. It really hurt me. Not only because that it was given to me on my birthday, but it kind of made me feel low. It basically said that I was unoriginal and that I wasn't creative. Sure, everybody was talking about the same things, but I was hoping that maybe, I can just express myself in a way that, it hasn't been done before, but at the same time feels familiar to people. So when I read that, it hurt me. And whenever I see a bunch of hateful mail like that, yeah, it's gonna hurt, especially when you're first starting out. The one that shaped my outlook. Well, let's see. Obviously, the hate that people send, the one in particular I just mentioned. But it just made me think to myself, okay, how can you turn this hate into something positive? It's like with yoga. You have to be able to make your weaknesses your strengths. So, okay. Well, let's see. The person said that I was uncreative and I was unoriginal. Okay. Well, if you want to talk about something that you like, do it in your own style. Don't try to copy off of people. Don't copy off of the big internet guys. You could learn from them. You could get inspiration from them, but do it in a way that you feel comfortable in doing it. You do it in a way that you feel is right. When I do my reviews, I constantly research about it. I pour into newspaper articles and other people's reviews, and then I watch it myself or I read it myself, depending on what I'm reviewing. And then I compilate everything together, and then I just dish it out. And sometimes, those difficulties, you can be able to learn from that, and that's what I did. I was able to take that one guy's hateful comment, and I was able to better myself as a blogger. I don't know who you are, whoever sent me that post or that letter. Thanks for making me a better blogger. I know that wasn't your intention, but I really appreciated that. How did I find Manic Expression? Well, I found Manic Expression by signing up on That Guy with the Glasses. There was this one post that I did that gave me the courage and the dedication to know that I can do this. It was around New Year's Eve. I was just posting this one article just for fun, and also the fact that I didn't see any other articles like this. I am a big Pee Wee Herman fan, and I decided, he was doing like really excellent with his comeback ever since 2010. But in 2011, he did equally amount of great things, but nobody was talking about it. So I decided to write about it. And so I typed it down. I listed off the 10 things that I thought that he did excellent this year, posted it on the blog. I sent it to him via Twitter and Facebook, just for fun. I didn't think he was going to read it. I woke up the next morning and I was shocked to see that one of the administrators of Tumblr, which is where old schooling was at first, and it said, Pee-wee himself tweeted. I couldn't believe it. Was this for real? So I checked. It was there. It gave like this big thank you, and I was smiling. I was crying, actually, that he was able to really like it. So I decided to expand the blog even further. I signed up on That Guy with the Glasses, and I posted a couple of stuff over there, and a lot of people liked it. The one person who that I connected with on that site was Positive Troll, and he and we started talking, we laughed, and we read each other's posts. And then one day he sent me a letter saying, would you like to join this website called Manic Expression? I said, sure. It was a very small site. I was the 50th member. And then Positive Troll changed his name to Les. And we became really good friends ever since. When I signed up on Manic Expression, I felt very welcome. A lot of the people who were on That Guy with the Glasses were also on Manic Expression. There was Movie Fan 12, there was also Les. There was a guy named Dark Jack who was there. And then I met a whole bunch of other great people. I met James, I met Sydney, I met Disney Otoku, I met James Baven, I met some jerk from Boston, I met Tim Deanna, Decker Shadow, Big Black Hat Man, Brett Club 85. I met a whole bunch of great people over there, and when I posted up my stuff on the site, they all liked it, and I felt great that they all liked it. The community. What can I say? The community has treated me like family. I feel so welcome there. I interact with everybody. I feel like I have numerous crazy family members, but nonetheless, they're fantastic, and I don't know what I'd be without them. Future goals. Well, hopefully I can be able to get maybe one of my books finished and maybe published someday. That would be great. I'm hoping to make Journey of an Offbeat into a TV series. And I'm hoping that maybe The Rise, Fall, and Redemption of String Bean would be a novel. As for blogging, I want to do more tributes. I want to be able to do more reviews via video, more crossovers, more podcasts. We've been doing great with casual chats and with our first impressions and with the movie reviews, and we're hoping that along the line our blog can be able to grow and expand. What to do next? Head over to my computer, do some research on the next thing I'm going to talk about, type it in, wait for a response or two. If not, I'm glad that I posted it up. Or maybe I just go on Skype and see if anybody's on so I can say a quick hello. Or maybe read a book. Or work on my stories. Yeah. What did I learn from blogging? Well, let's see. I learned a lot from blogging. One of the things that I learned was the kinds of people that are on the internet. You have the people who give off good, complimentary posts. Then you see the ones who give off the nasty posts. You read both of them, even if they're really small. You read both the good and the bad, and you learn from them. And also, I learned about what my style was. I learned about, hey, this is how I present a movie review or a TV review or whatever. And I'm hoping that I can be able to improve on that. Of course, there's always room for improvement. Advice. Well, here's the most important thing that I can teach you about it. If you want to do a blog, you have to do something that you feel comfortable in talking about. Forget about the fact that it's been done before. Sure, there's going to be a million people out there who want to be the next James Rolfe or Doug Walker or whatever. Do what you feel that you can be able to talk about, and you can be able to feel happy in doing so. Do not, however, don't do it for the fame. Because if you do, they'll notice you right away and they'll think you're just a pretender. Do it because you like to do it. Don't do it because you want your 15 minutes of fame. Also, you have to be able to take the good and the bad. If you start off a couple of months with nobody even knowing you exist, and even if you get like one fan or one comment from the millions of things that you post, that's the best feeling that you can ever get, because at least you know that one person has recognized your work. And who knows, maybe that one person will talk it over to a friend, and then that friend will talk it over to a bunch of other friends, and maybe it'll spread out until everybody knows who you are. And for the people who are struggling with autism or Asperger's syndrome or any type of mental disorder, life is going to kick you in the ass. A lot. You're going to be in a corner and crying. A lot. You're going to feel awkward. Probably for the rest of your life. But take what God gave you and work to what you can be able to present to yourself. Try to work hard on your weaknesses and bring it out as your strength. I have difficulties with being interactive with people. Yet at the same time, I have a blog with my best friend of 16 years. I'm in a wonderful community with over 200 people who really like my work. And I'm hoping that we'll get more. And we've gotten a ton of people that we've interviewed for the tribute, whom they know us and they respect us. Who knows? Maybe if you work hard on your blogs, or if you just work hard on pursuing what you want to achieve, maybe you can get a childhood hero to say hello for you for a few minutes. Or maybe you can get a little gift package from one of your childhood heroes. Or maybe you can get a tweet from one of them saying that they loved your work. But if none of that happens, and if you only just get one comment, that's okay. At least you'll know the satisfactory of presenting one vital information for the internet.